Well, one of the programmes that can be guaranteed to bring both children and adults together in front of the box is the TV soap. From Neighbours and Home and Away to Coronation Street and EastEnders, these last two everyday stories of ordinary people bring some of the biggest audiences to British TV. But do they serve to widen the north-south divide? Let's look at the evidence with Darren Shepherd from the University College, Salford.
Throughout the ages there has always been an imaginary line dividing the north and the south of our beloved nation. A line that has often led to heated debates ranging from the centre of power in the country to the intelligence level of the north and the comparative wealth of the south. Carol O'Reilly is a media studies lecturer at University College, Salford.
I think things like north-south divides and regional differences between people are mostly a matter of perception. So I think while it's not something that's actually physical and tangible, I do think it's something that certainly does exist psychologically in people's minds and can often be quite strong.
I don't like people from south. They're either jack the lads or there's always something funny about them.
All the good jobs go down south, all the investment goes down south.
I think that they sort of set themselves apart from us and see themselves as being better than we are.
Attitudes in the north differ to attitudes in the south, especially. Personally, I'm not biased, but northerners tend to think of the southerners as rather soft and sort of a bit toffee as well.
Well, I went down to live on the Isle of Wight, and a lot of the people down there had these preconceived ideas about how northerners were going to be.
More cost, it's so expensive down south.
I'll be honest with you, I like to go down south, but I wouldn't like to live down there myself.
Indeed, the north-south divide does appear to be very much alive and kicking. From arguments about strength of beer through to the stupidity of local accents, the divide must also be evident in what we see on television. Coronation Street bases itself in the northern city of Manchester, and EastEnders is set in the East End of London. And what better example of the divide can there be than in these soap operas?
People identify with the characters on a certain level. They identify with the real life situations that are supposedly portrayed in the soap operas. I think people respond in very certain ways and often very predictable ways to soap operas. Southern audiences may identify a little more with southern-based soap operas. However, often they may be more inclined to reject more unrealistic elements and maybe watch north-based or northern-based soap operas. Northern-based soap operas may actually confirm stereotypes that southern audiences have about the north of England. Thus they may be much more acceptable to a southern audience because it confirms what these people already believe about the north, this image of the sort of northerner with the flat cap and the whippet. I think soap operas stereotype individual characters or characters on an individual basis.
Though Caroline Reynolds of Granada Television disagrees with the stereotypes.
They're used as flavour. I think you get certain characters only seen in the north as there are in certain ones in the south. They add flavour and colour to the cast. But I don't see it as being, it's not stereotypical. I've never classed them as northern symbols, but I think it says an awful lot about what wonderful characters they have in the north, that they're as varied as you see on Coronation Street.
And Thelma Barlow, also known as Mavis Wilton in Coronation Street, sounds quite proud to be a northerner.
I think, from my point of view, that, and I come from the north, that Coronation Street portrays so well the northern character. It's warm and it's funny and it has great feeling, and that to me sort of just epitomises what I think about the northern character. I think the fact that it travels well means that people in any part of the world can recognise the characters in Coronation Street, love them and laugh at them and weep with them, and it just has this very strong connection with what everybody's about, and I think they know sort of the human quality in it.
And here possibly comes the difference between the two great soaps. As Thelma empathised with the warmth of the northern character, Yvonne Grace, a former script editor at EastEnders, points out that the southern soap was always destined to be a bit different.
Well, from what I remember anyway, when I was on EastEnders, the creators of EastEnders, the writers of EastEnders, contrasted themselves very, very graphically with Coronation Street. In their opinion, Coronation Street was something that you'd come home to every night It was a traditional, warm, unchanging format. They thought of Coronation Street as a parochial series. I know that's not true, but it serves a completely quintessential southern soap to think of a northern soap in such a way. They believed EastEnders reflected completely a cosmopolitan viewpoint, which was, i.e., a London viewpoint, issue-based, racy, happening.
So is that the difference between the two halves of our country? Is it so that the north is warm and friendly, like something you come home to every night? Is the south a throbbing pulse of racy, happening fashion? Does this mean that northerners are dull and boring, unlike southerners who are just great? If I lived in Coronation Street, I might not like that comparison.
I think the fact that this serial has been going for 34 years and is the world's longest running drama serial is a credit to the people in the Northwest.
Indeed, Coronation Street has consistently topped EastEnders in the TV ratings. This suggests that the warm character of the north is more attractive than the happening yuppie character of the south. Whilst the TV viewing millions at least, the argument rages on.
And that report was from Darren Shepherd at Salford University. Do you like the north or the south, Coronation Street or EastEnders?
Oh, Corrie.
Absolutely.
Any day.
Depresses me, EastEnders, but I probably shouldn't be venturing my own opinion.